When AudioPen first launched, I was quite surprised looking at the number of ways people were using it. I didn't expect it to be used in so many ways. People used it for, as a scribe at work. They used it as a journaling companion. They used it to write their academic papers, etc. For someone like me, I work in an office all day, so I can't really talk to the mic. I wasn't a power user, at least initially. However, a few months into having built AudioPen, that changed, and I found one use case that I continue to use to this day, and that is using AudioPen as a reading companion. And it's become by far my favorite way to use the tool. So I just thought I'd make a quick video to sort of show you how I use it and see if you might find that useful as well. It's actually quite simple. I try to read when I have the time, and for instance, right now I'm reading this book. It's about money and the history of the financial system. And typically in the pre-AudioPen era, I would read a book and make notes on it. Sometimes have a separate Word document in which I'd save a few notes that I wanted to remember. But that felt very cumbersome. It sort of broke my flow while I was reading, and just made the process of taking notes sort of like a chore. With AudioPen, that has changed to my benefit. What I do now is I just read a chapter, and at the end of the chapter, I take a voice note. And I take a voice note sort of detailing everything that I've read. So you can see this at the moment. This is stuff that I've read recently. And I do this for all sorts of books. And then I tag each book with its name. So for instance, this is a book I read some time ago. You can see all of the notes with its name and the tag books there as well. This is another book that I was reading at some point, which I never finished, but I have these notes for whenever I restart. And this way it sort of helps me not just capture what was in the book or what sort of called out to me while I was reading, but it helps me revisit what I just read, and my brain sort of does that first level of filtration, which I find very useful. With all AI tools, not just AudioPen, I think it's important for our brains to filter out what we want to remember before we tell machines to remember it or rephrase it or do whatever they have to do with that information. And yeah, that's what I do. I finish a chapter, I press record on my phone, just to record my thoughts around it. I sometimes use just the default settings, so free users can also do that. Sometimes I use a writing style called book notes, which just sort of gives me bullet points. And occasionally, sometimes I will create a super summary just by selecting a book. So let's say I selected, let's select one with more notes. So I selected this. If I wanted to create a summary of a couple of notes, I could just select them and then create a super summary here in whatever style I wanted. This way, it sort of just helps me maintain a repository of notes across books that I read, across time. Sometimes even if I'm reading multiple books at a time, not an issue at all. I can just revisit what I just read, a couple of weeks ago. If I haven't finished a book yet and I'm revisiting it, I can just open AudioPen, filter through to that book just with a couple of taps, see what I wrote, and then start reading again. It's nice. I wish I had more time to read. I don't, but at least this way it sort of keeps me on track as far as getting back to it is concerned. I assume a lot of people will also find this useful because a lot of people also read. It's not a very niche use case. And so, please give it a try. Let me know what you think, and see you soon.